Hi everyone, happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. Not sure what the weather in the DMV is like, but where I am, it's rainy and cold. So hopefully your weather is a little bit better than mine is today. Today we're going to be discussing Condoms and Barriers 101, just going over some basic information about condoms and what your options are for them, the importance of using them. Hey Jaleeks, hope you're doing well. The importance of using them, what they're really for, which is preventing STIs and preventing HIV and preventing unplanned pregnancy. Also going over some of the reasons why they don't work, allergies to condoms, and then talking about some other options for barriers for when you are engaging in sex. So we'll get Whitman-Walker in the room and then get started shortly. But in the interim, if you need to access HIV testing or STI testing, please give Whitman-Walker a call at 202-797-4439. You can schedule a testing appointment with them at that number. But all in all, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Whitman-Walker's Community Health Department has expanded its outreach efforts to the social media platform. We cover various topics about HIV and STIs, as well as sexual health practices, access to care, social determinants of health, and public health interventions. The community health team is here to educate and support you. So my name is Jewel, and I use she, hers pronouns, and I work with the community health team to bring educational Instagram lives to this space. And again, today we're going to discuss condoms and barriers. Let me just see if we've got Whitman-Walker in here yet, and then we will get started. But for folks who are in the chat, do you guys have any favorite condom brands? I know some folks really love the skin ones, and other folks love the warming and cooling ones. I feel like I've used that and didn't have a good experience with them. But to each their own. I think the best thing about condoms and barriers is that you get to choose what your personal preference is, so that's pretty this And there's so many condoms on the market to choose from. This past Wednesday, we actually talked a lot about lube and also talked about some barrier options as well. But I think some takeaways from Wednesday's live is that, there are two main kinds of lubes to use that are not going to degrade your condom or make it less effective. Yeah. Someone just said they haven't heard great things about the warm and cool condoms, and I'm like, yeah, I totally agree. I think that I've heard feedback that the warming is too warming and is really uncomfortable for your sensitive parts, and it probably just has no cooling effect at all. It probably just feels like peppermint. And if you're not like a Dr. Bronner's peppermint soap lover, then they're probably not a great condom choice for you. But yeah. Let's see about getting Whitman-Walker here. But yeah, back to lube options. So for lubes, you really want to stick to your basic water-based or silicone-based lube. Water-based is a lot easier to clean off your body. It's water-based, so it's, pretty pure and healthy to use. Silicone-based is a more synthetic lube, but it does stay wetter for longer because it is synthetic. It might stain your sheets a little bit more, so you definitely want to use the sheets that you don't care about as much. But all in all, it's a super effective lube to use if you don't want to have to keep reapplying throughout your sexual health encounter or your sexual encounter. Cool. I think we just got Whitman-Walker in here. Almost. Awesome. Thanks for joining Whitman-Walker. Cool. So again, talking about condoms and barriers today. The barriers and condoms you use is all about your personal preference. But if you're unsure of the safer sex practices of your partner and or other people that you're having sex with, and neither of you have gotten tested recently, using any barrier method is important regardless of the type of sex that you're having. Barriers and condoms simply help you to protect your health if you pursue sexual activities with other people. So the friction that can happen during sex or intercourse can cause cuts and tears in the vagina or the front hole or the anus. And so STIs and HIV can really be easily transmitted through these cuts and tears. So it's really important to use condoms or other barrier methods to prevent the exchange of body fluids through these cuts and tears, as they could lead to a person experiencing an STI or HIV transmission. Or, just flat out pregnancy if that's the thing as well. So, why do we use condoms and barriers? Sexual health practitioners preach using condoms and barriers and getting tested so that folks don't have to experience getting diagnosed with an STI or HIV, and so that they don't have to experience passing on STIs to other people. So that said, STIs are super common and most are treatable, so it's important to get tested pretty often. So if you're a super or a very sexually active person who doesn't use condoms or barriers for every sexual encounter, you want to try getting tested every 3 months. 3 months because it takes 3 months after exposure to HIV for your HIV test to show up as positive. But you especially want to practice this if you are having barrier-free or condomless sex. Otherwise, you could also start off doing every 6 months or just at least 2 times a year. That's another great option to keep a good cadence of sexual health testing in your life and your partner's lives. Always encourage them to get tested as well. That said, Whitman-Walker Health is open for HIV and STI testing by appointment, so please give them a call at 202-797-4439. Now, a lot of folks don't use condoms correctly. So to achieve consistent and correct condom use, here are some tips. First, let's go over why people use them wrong. The failure of condoms to protect against STIs and HIV transmission and or pregnancy usually is from inconsistent condom use or incorrect use, rather than the product just being a failure. An inconsistent or non-use can lead to getting an STI because transmission can occur with a single sexual act with an infected partner. Incorrect use of condoms and barriers diminishes the protective effect of the condoms by leading to condom breakage or slippage or leakage. Incorrect use more commonly entails a failure to use condoms throughout the entire sexual act from start to finish. So from the beginning of sexual contact to the end. So this is when someone's ejaculating or folks are coming. So I think this reminds me of some folks will take out a condom midway during sexual activity. 1, that is sexual assault. And 2, that is an incorrect way to use a condom. You're supposed to keep it on until after ejaculation has been completed. So again, it's important to use these tools effectively and accurately. So here are some tips on how to use them correctly and accurately. So first thing you want to do is check the expiration date on the condom and examine the packaging for any holes. Making sure it's not like the old one you've had in your wallet for 1,000 years is a great first step. You also want to use a new condom for every sexual act, whether it's in the vagina or the front hole or if it's anal or oral sex. And you want to use it again throughout the entire sexual act from start to finish, so from the point of sexual contact to ejaculation or coming. Before any genital contact, you want to put the condom on the tip of the erect penis with the rolled side down. And if the condom does not have a reservoir or a tip at the top that would catch the semen, you want to pinch the tip enough to leave a little bit of space, so half an inch of space for semen to collect after ejaculation. Holding the tip, you want to unroll the condom all the way to the base of the erect penis. After ejaculation and before the penis gets soft, you want to grip the rim of the condom and carefully withdraw it, and then gently pull the condom off the penis and make sure that semen doesn't spill out. Again, that leakage can get people pregnant, so just be careful. And then last, you want to wrap the condom in a tissue and throw it away in the trash where others can't handle it or interact with it, because you want to do that. And if at any time you feel like the condom has broken or is tearing or anything during sexual activity, you want to stop immediately, withdraw, and remove the broken condom and put on a new one. So now we'll talk about some options for condoms and barriers. So I call this the common condom, but a lot of us know it as the male condom, the one that we just talked about in terms of breakage and whatnot. These can be worn on a penis and are used to cover dildos or other sex toys as well. But these condoms come in all different sizes and textures and flavors and colors, and like you name it, warming and cooling. But with so many options, it can be fun to experiment and figure out which one you like the best. Maybe you like a ribbed one. Up to you. Again, personal preference. Flavored condoms are usually the best for just oral sex. You don't want to have sex or like physical contact or intercourse or insert of sex with a flavored condom. It really just is for oral sex. Given that condoms come in so many sizes, don't ever let someone trick you into thinking that their penis is too big for the average condom. It is not. I'm sure all of us have seen those videos where people stick their leg or their entire like fist and arm into a condom. So like no one's too big for the condoms that are made, even the small ones. Uh, sometimes folks will say that the condom is uncomfortable, but I promise you, an STI or a pregnancy scare causes a lot more discomfort and takes away from peace of mind. Plus, if you have asked your partner to wear a condom and they don't respect your wish, like they probably aren't a great person to have sex with, and they should definitely be respecting what you asked them to do from start to finish and not pulling it off midway and not telling you. Again, that is sexual assault. Additionally, there's a right condom out there for every person who says they're uncomfortable. They just haven't sampled enough of the menu of condoms available out of fear or lack of knowledge and research or lack of access. But thankfully, Whitman-Walker makes condoms available and free at its health center. So if you go in for an appointment or you're just passing by one of their locations any given day, you can walk in and get some free condoms or free lube. And also DC residents can get free condoms delivered directly to them. So just place your order today at sexualbeing.org. Again, that's sexualbeing.org. Female condoms are also an option. They're also called FC2s. They are a fantastic nitrile sac that fits inside of a vagina or front hole or rectum, and they're very comfortable to wear. A lot of folks really love them. They stay in place with a flexible ring on the inside that's meant to fit snugly against the cervix, and another ring on the outside that's meant to rest against the vulva. So think of a male condom, except this one, instead of having a tip at one end, has a ring, and at the other end it also has a ring. And one ring goes into the vagina or the front hole, and the other ring rests on the outside of the body. So that said, you can also use this same female condom or FC2 for anal sex, but you have to remove that inner ring before using it. It should not go into the rectum. You want to move that ring, and then you can use the condom the same. But also I've heard really great reviews about the FC2s. I was at an event one time, and we were passing out free condoms, and this man comes over and clears us out of all of the FC2s because he just loves them so much. So you heard it here first. Gloves are also a really great option for barriers. They're made of latex or nitrile, so they're safe for people who have latex allergies if you use the nitrile version. And they come in different sizes and colors if you care about the color and size of your gloves. Gloves protect you while you explore manual stimulation like hand jobs or fisting. Plus, with a little bit of lube, gloves become slippery and sexy tools of pleasure that glide smoothly over the skin. Using one finger's worth of a glove can also be a great condom for someone who was assigned female at birth or identifies as AFAB and may be on hormones that cause their clit or their dick to enlarge. There's also dental dams. These are really great for oral sex. So dental dams are thin, silky, smooth sheets of latex or polyurethane designed to make oral vaginal or oral frontal or oral anal contact safe and pleasurable for both partners. You can put some lubricant on the area that's to be licked, lay the sex or dental dam down gently on top of the skin, but don't stretch it out, and then you can begin to perform oral sex. And then there's also saran wrap, which is a pretty unique one. You can use saran wrap as a barrier. The most effective way to use this is for oral sex, whether it's on a vagina or a front hole or an anus, and you'll want to cut a big piece of saran wrap off. Basically have the person who's receiving oral sex like sit on half of it and then fold the other half over the area that they're going to be having oral sex performed on. And just flip your body the other way if it's going to be anal oral sex. So yeah, and then it's also good, similarly to the dental dams, you can pour a little bit of lube down before you get started and then put the saran wrap on top of that, and it'll make for a super pleasurable experience. Finally, I just wanted to talk about some allergic reactions because there are some folks out in the world who are allergic to latex, and a lot of condoms are often made from latex. So allergic reactions tend to develop either immediately or after first contact with latex or after repeated exposure to latex. Uh, and if it's determined that the source of the allergy reaction is the latex, there are some non-latex condoms that you could consider wearing. These condoms are made of soft plastic material or polyurethane, and they are more unlikely to cause allergic reactions. Excuse me. There's also some lambskin condoms as well. But lubricants can also be worn or can also be the source of an allergic reaction. So to solve this problem, you can purchase unlubricated condoms or use water-based lubricant. Again, popular ones are water-based and silicone-based. Water just being that it doesn't stay wet as long because it dries up, and then silicone will stay wetter for longer. Finally, if you need further information or more help in figuring out whether you are allergic to condoms or lubricants, you can consult your medical provider. They'll be able to help you out in terms of figuring out what your allergy source is. But yeah, thank you all for learning a little bit about condoms and barriers and the options available to you and what consistent and correct condom use looks like. You can also go to YouTube and look up how to use a condom correctly. It's a Whitman-Walker video that has like millions of views and is super informative in terms of how to use a condom correctly. Again, if you need to access HIV or STI testing, please call 202-797-4439 to schedule a testing appointment. And if you'd like for Whitman-Walker to provide mobile health services in your neighborhood, you can contact them at mobilehealth@whitman-walker.org. Again, that's mobilehealth@whitman-walker.org. And you can access HIV prevention tools like PrEP and PEP, which is kind of like the birth control and the plan B of HIV prevention. Or you can access treatment for HIV by calling 202-797-4439. Again, so thank you all for your time. Thanks for learning more about condoms and barriers and how to prevent HIV and how to get some healthy resources in your community. Before we go, we've been in multiple pandemics this year. So first things first, COVID-19. If you've already gotten a vaccine, that's awesome. You're helping to keep your community healthy. You know, we've had multiple variants soaring around the world, so just important to get vaccinated. As vaccines, you know, they don't prevent you from getting COVID-19, but they do help you not get too sick with COVID. They'll keep you out of the hospital with COVID. They'll help you not die from COVID. So they are awesome. If you haven't been vaccinated and you'd like an appointment, Whitman-Walker Health does have COVID-19 vaccine available. You can call 202-207-2480 to schedule an appointment. And if you're having trouble making an appointment with Whitman-Walker or they're just not close by to you and you're a DC resident, you can visit vaccinate.dc.gov or call 1-855-363-0333. If you're a Maryland resident, you can visit covidlink.maryland.gov or call 1-855-634-6829. And Virginia residents can visit vaccinate.virginia.gov or call 1-877-829-4682. And if you haven't been vaccinated yet and you're not looking for an appointment, please continue to follow CDC guidelines for social distancing, mask wearing, and the like. And it's just super important that you are mindful of the folks who are around you if they haven't been vaccinated. You know, keep your distance, wear your mask, but especially if you don't know their vaccination status. And for our second public health emergency / pandemic, according to the CDC, there are more than 28,000 cases of monkeypox or mpox documented in the U.S. In DC, you can pre-register for a monkeypox vaccine appointment at preventmonkeypox.dc.gov. Virginia is working with local care providers to contact, trace, and identify people who are in most need of monkeypox vaccines. And if you're in Maryland, you can visit the Maryland Health Department website and pre-register for an appointment with them for a monkeypox vaccine. But no matter where you are, you can visit your state's local health department for more information on what they're doing for monkeypox prevention and vaccination. In DC, they've got some vaccination clinics at 3640 Martin Luther King Jr. Avenue Southeast in Ward 8, 5335 Wisconsin Avenue Northwest in Ward 3, and 926 F Street Northwest in Ward 2. Walk-up vaccines will be provided on a first-come, first-served basis and only to eligible residents. Please note that hours vary each day and by location, so make sure you check out the latest testing hours at preventmonkeypox.dc.gov before you head over to their website. And finally, You are currently eligible to be vaccinated in DC if you are a DC resident who is 18 years or older, and you identify as any person who has had any person of any sexual orientation or gender who's had multiple sexual partners in the last 2 weeks, including those who are currently considered highest risk, which is folks who identify as gay, bisexual, or other men who have sex with men, transgender men, and transgender women, or sex workers of any sexual orientation or gender, or staff of any sexual orientation or gender at establishments where sexual activity occurs, like bathhouses, saunas, and sex clubs. You will need to require proof of residency to get your vaccine. So this is a ID card with a DC address, a utility bill or other piece of mail with your name and DC address, or a current DC lease or mortgage with your name on it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please remember to follow Whitman-Walker on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Whitman-Walker, and check the website at www.whitman-walker.org for the most up-to-date information on their services. And for more COVID-19 resources and just general Walker services, or to schedule that HIV or STI testing appointment, you can give us a call at 202-797-4439. Again, that's 202-797-4439. And follow some of their programs and the Whitman-Walker family at Real Talk DC _ and at No Filter DC. Have a great rest of your Friday. Bye.